From Significant, this is Crack It in an Hour.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Crack It in an Hour. I'm Simon.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Roman.
And this week, very excited, the most special, amazing guest, Jesper. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Jesper Andréasson. Thank you so much for having me.
ThanI'm for being here.
You asked me to tell me who I am or what I do.
Yes,
right?
tell us a little. Tell us, what do you do?
Yeah. So I'm up 2.5 years now on working for Ford Motor Company as head of brand strategy and transformation for Lincoln.
That's amazing.
You know,
And-
just that job.
And, just Jesper rocked in the building with let's say it like the most amazing Bronco I've ever seen. Probably. So,
If we could just take it for a little spin after this, I'd be very happy.
We could try and go off-road. It's a little far away from a canyon, but
I love it. But in the
Amazing.
meantime, we have a problem to crack.
We do have a
Before
problem
we
to
get
crack.
to doing,
Bronco
donuts
tour.
and all that great stuff, we got to crack this problem. So for those of you who listened before, you know the story. It is one problem to crack in 1 hour, once a week. Roman, would you like to do the honors of starting the clock?
done.
And this week, Jessie is bringing the problem. The rest of us have no idea what it is. So here we go.
The problem.
The challenge, the topic, because you don't like to talk about problems, right?
Yeah, that's
you
true.
usually bring like topics.
I
Conversations.
actually have a problem this time.
Ooh, I like it.
I've got a big
I
problem.
like it. My
I think
caveman
like
brain needs that.
One of these days, we're just going to start solving, personal problems, and it's going to get really interesting. I'm very excited for this topic, Jesper, especially having you here, because it's actually something that we talk about a lot. So I think it's going to be interesting to get everybody's perspective.
We as in you two?
Yes,
Jasper and you? That's awesome.
Jasper and
All
I
right,
have
cool.
had many
Very cool.
conversations
Why
on
your
this
coworkers
topic.
are such jerks.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Those two guys. What was I thinking? I want to talk about the travel industry.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm going to get into a specific problem. But Jesper, I know you love to travel. All of us love to travel, but you and I have talked about travel a lot in the past. And the truth is, travel was supposed to be fun, and it's like a job now. It's exhausting. And so I think, both the functional planning side of travel is exhausting to people, but also sort of the emotional side of it over the last couple of, at least the last decade, always feeling this need to raise the bar, where you go, what you do, what you spend, the sort of emotional side of travel gets really exhausting. Of course, on top of that, in a world where social status is certainly a form of currency, we started traveling. I think this is my sort of personal belief that we've kind of started traveling more for others instead of for ourselves. And I think that the travel industry is in a limbo phase. I think we're in between. We're sort of Airbnb is not as disruptive as it once was, but I don't think hotels have really come in and recaptured the market the way that they could. I think we still want really unique experiences, but we also want to relax and be pampered. Being a tourist at one point became, in the era of Airbnb, it sort of became this big cultural enemy. Ew, who wants to be a tourist? That's such a gross thing. But now people are oh, I don't know. Being a tourist sounds kind of nice and relaxing. And, also but at the same time, I think we're not as satisfied in these super crowded places, maybe not the best experiences. And fundamentally, the process to plan, book, and even experience the trip itself has become really complex and overwhelming. So I think I really wanted to bring it, and this is going to be interesting because we could do Simon's favorite thing, which is invent companies and start industries. We could talk about the booking process. We could talk about the cultural role of travel and how to make people, how to change people's relationship with travel. But really, I want to talk about what is next for the travel industry. I think my personal hypothesis is there is going to be a new wave of innovation. Simon, I know you're excited already. A new wave of innovation, certainly aimed at serving kind of this next generation traveler with these emerging motivations and needs. And I think that those needs are going to be rooted in making travel fun again.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah.
Are you saying travel or vacation?
meaning does travel include work travel?
Yeah.
I'm excluding work travel from this.
Okay.
Happy to talk about it if we want to. There's a whole other conversation in industry, I think, around the world of business travel. But I was focused a little bit more on like
Leisure travel.
Leisure travel.
Can I ask another clarification?
You can ask a million.
Are we, when we say travel, we mean both the journey of traveling as well as the destination,
Correct.
right? So we're talking about both here.
And even like the booking process, you know, that's, and we know that that's changing so much with AI, and we can get into the entire journey from concept to booking, to planning, to experiencing, to coming home. I wanted to, I guess to sum up the question, how do we define the next wave of travel to make travel fun again? It is fundamentally stressful for people. I have a couple quick stats I was going to share with you, and please keep asking questions, but 70% of US vacation bookers say that the booking experience is stressful, really stress inducing. Interestingly, there was a Gallup survey that said over half of vacationers said that they were tired after vacation upon returning.
Vacation from the vacation.
Exactly. Including 19% of them saying that they were very tired or exhausted. Like, it's just fundamentally the opposite.
That's also like if you're drinking all the booze in the world and then you come back and you're like, wow, I was drunk for a week. Like, it's gonna happen.
Totally. But also
I remember my 20s. That's what I did.
But even just the feeling that you need to cram it all, like do everything, see everything. It's exhausting. I thought this was interesting. Actually, Whoop did a study with Clear. They conducted a survey. You know, obviously they track stress levels and sleep and all of that. And they, in their survey, in their study, it showed that it takes about 5 days to fully regain lost sleep and 7 days to return to normal stress levels after.
Gotcha.
And obviously that's probably impact of quite literally flight, like
100%.
the plane, but it still has a massive impact on your body. And then last two things in a survey from 2023, almost half of only 45% of American adults said that their most recent vacation met their expectations.
So less than half.
Less than half.
Wow.
Interesting.
Actually satisfied
That's an interesting
with
stat.
the trip that they
that's
took.
very good.
And also in that same survey, 72% of respondents felt that social media set unrealistic expectations for that trip.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker, but it's having an effect on this industry. So yeah, I mean, I can tell you a little bit more about, certainly, you know, I always like to bring a little history, like the pre-2000s to the mid-2010s to late 2010s, and now we can talk about how travel's evolved, but I want to pause
do you think those stats have they evolved a lot? Like, is there anything? Did you see anything that would say that 20 years ago it was different? That travel was less stressful?
I don't have anything fully comparative exact survey, but actually some of this research dates back to 2002 and up to 2023, seeing still the same results.
Is the unsatisfaction rate from, because that one to me is
that's
the problem to solve.
The
how do you make people like if you make people more satisfied with
my question is like, if you look at the evolution of transportation, right, and so if you could have access to that data, let's say, obviously I'm not going to go back to like whatever the 50s, but even like starting in the 80s, and then the 2000s, and then in the 2020s, I would be curious to know about that, because the transportation industry has made really big leaps, and now we're like in a state of lull, and it seems like there hasn't been really any innovation in the last, let's say, decade. But like we are like arguably the first generation that really benefited from like the mass democratization of flights. Access to airplanes, right? And that was a huge impact on leisure travel.
Massive.
Totally.
So that's where I'm coming from. I'm like, because I a lot of what you're saying is fascinating, because you're like, yeah, sure, if you get on a 10-hour flight, you're going to be tired. Like, and I think in the US, you get on the flight, like people get on the bus in Europe. You know what I mean?
But could I counter that with and I think it's kind of speaks to the complexity of the problem a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is, I wonder if in this era of one-upmanship, of seeing the influencer and stuff like that, there's more people getting on 10-hour flights with kids.
Yes.
And they shouldn't be, because you should just go to the Grand Canyon and you'll have a better time.
Totally.
So it's like, you know what I mean?
There was data around
100%.
that, and I didn't pull it, but I was reading about actually the duration of trips has gotten longer.
That doesn't
over
surprise
the last
me.
couple,
Yeah.
like over time, for that exact reason. People are like, well, I need to go further away.
Totally.
And if I'm going to go further away, then I need to stay longer. And then you stay longer, so you spend more money. And then people come back exhausted, stressed.
Totally.
So I do think there's this social cultural component of this, of how do you kind of make people just think about travel differently. And then there's the entire process from booking to flight to trip itself to coming back, all of it has a compounding effect.
Totally.
So it's not just like the 10-hour flight
No,
makes
no,
it
no,
bad.
Is it
totally.
American or European? As a fellow European here, we usually have 4 to 6 weeks of vacation during summer, which means that you basically move your family or your habitat from your primary residence to your summer residence. Regardless if you're rich or poor, someone has something through family somewhere.
Yeah.
Then out of that 4 to 6 weeks, you might go travel somewhere. And you can allow yourself to have a bit of relaxed time before and after. US, it's like you have 2 weeks a year. You want to maximize it. Suck it. And you want to go and maximize it. Again, me living in the Living Focus group, which is my wife, who is American, I'm Swedish. We've actually started, just to what you're saying, we're shortening our destination so that we actually, we would rather spend a night less in a hotel so we can fly back with better seats so that we can feel better when we come back.
Right.
Which is definitely not how I used to travel. I would go maximize cheapest seat, but I guess that has to do with age as well. And also the perspectives you need and why you travel.
It's interesting. I mean, we've talked on a past episode about the European perspective on taking vacation, but actually hadn't thought about what you said, which is when you have that extended period of time, you can moving your entire habitat, to use your words, that already feels like something new and fresh, but it's like, it doesn't have to be, it's not the thing. And then you can experience things within it that gives you this, a bit of a both balance, but also and I hadn't thought about it like that. I mean, back to that episode we recorded, we're going to have to get policy makers and companies to change their vacation policies. And I guess then travel will be solved on top of that.
This is such a interesting sort of this is a great conversation because it kind of speaks to kind of this moment in time in a lot of ways. And specifically, I think we're in such a culture of one-upsmanship that is not necessarily even personally satisfying anymore. And I think everything you talked about is travel is sort of at the core of it, right? Which is you want to do the thing you saw someone do that looks cool, and you want it's everything. It's literally people who can't afford Disney saving up to go to Disney. You know what I mean? This is the world we live in right now. And when you have in any industry, if you had a over 50% unsatisfaction rate with your product, you'd go back to the drawing board and be what are we doing here? No one likes this. You know what I mean?
Except for politics.
That's why, they're just par for the course. That's why I think the moment for hotels right now, even as just one part of the equation, is really interesting because, Airbnb, Vrbo, they all had this moment where everybody was you're right. I don't want to be a tourist. I want to travel like a local. It totally changed the market. And now, of course, we've all seen it. People are I don't want to do chores and I don't want to stay in this house and I don't want to
bed.
I'm gonna make the bed and do the laundry and I don't want to do this stuff. And I think the mistake is for the hotel industry to just sort of come in and be you don't have to do those things here. But for them instead to actually get ahead of lowest hanging fruit is just talking about the stress-free relaxation of being in a hotel versus making Airbnb the enemy, But I think it's more,
it's such a cool thing. There was an article in Financial Times Weekend a few months back talking about luxury hotels moving away from white tablecloth to amazing recreational areas. So like hotel gyms are getting bumped up, to your point, because you want to feel good when you get away.
Yes.
You don't only want to like wine and dine at a fancy restaurant. Like, so gyms and spas are like really booming up now.
That makes a ton of sense.
That's actually, I hadn't
noticed.
That's also a huge...
That's also because I don't go to those hotels, but you do.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. The last couple of places I went, actually, the gym was amazing.
Well, it's also a differentiator against Airbnbs and stuff too, right? Which is like immediately you can say, come here and we'll take care of all of that. Whereas you're not going to get that if you rent a house or whatever, generally.
But so... there's a bunch of things that you said, like we could, like, how do you want to, where do you want us to start? Because I think it could be like a process, like let's all get on the journey of travel, start with the booking thing, blah, blah, blah. But it could be another approach, I guess. That's a little more bigger picture. Like, where do you want to take us?
I think we should start talking about what we think the trends are going to be in travel, like the future of travel, what our predictions are. And then we can come back and I've actually sort of mapped out a little bit of the journey and some of the pain points on the journey. We can actually, I know Jesper, you're an innovation guy as well. So we can put our innovation hats on and see what we come up with. But I can start in terms of what some of at least the trends. I mean, we've all seen certain things, and like what you were just both talking about, the wellness travel space is exploding. Like people don't want to go. Actually, the type of vacation you were talking about, Simon, that we all did in our 20s, like that's not what even people younger kids like. It's not necessarily what they want.
They don't know how
to
party.
No, they don't know how to party. The kids don't know how to party.
That's so sad.
Actually, I saw something literally yesterday about wellness raves.
Oh,
yeah.
And then there's
let's move on from that topic.
There's like morning raves now in Europe. Like people go to like bakeries and there's a couple DJs and they dance like with a coffee in hand.
And ravers are playing chess now. That's like a big thing.
Well, wait, no, that's not a rave. That's just chess.
No, they're
no, because it's 5 a.m. and they're like they did MDMA the night before and they're still like
intoxicated or not?
No, I don't think so. I think they're just like trading it in for chess. But yeah, the wellness thing is wellness tourism, I think is going to be a really big shift. But I'm when I think about it, I don't think it's just like, oh, I want to go and do yoga and I want to go to the gym. Like
it's not a retreat.
It's not a retreat. And I think that's one of the spaces I'm curious about. It's like when we talk about wellness a lot, like what do we think the opportunities are? Not
in
to like
that space, in the wellness space.
Yeah. Or like, what are the needs that might be bubbling up in wellness travel? What people are looking for besides like, because actually that can get exhausting too.
I don't want to oversimplify, but it's something I see in wellness and something I see also a little bit with the counter to the Airbnb thing, which is like everything just needs to be balanced a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, I think like to your point, like, I don't know if it's like, we need to, I like the idea of like hotels now actually think a little bit more about the gym, a little bit more about this. Why? So when you get up, you could have a decent run, a decent workout, whatever it is you need to get on and enjoy the rest of it sort of thing. Like that stuff makes sense to me. But I don't know if it's like we need more wellness in our travel and that's going to fix the travel industry.
I think wellness travel is already there. I don't see it as the next wave. It started like 15 years ago with like yoga retreats in Bali, who are now like very popular like around the world that you can find. And now I'm talking about cliche wellness things, right? But like
influencer style,
you can find, I think, wellness travel like pretty much anywhere you are in the Western world. But I think the same way we're starting to see, and it's niche, but it's growing. See like a segment of the younger population stay away from the phones and bring back analog stuff and actually like being advocating for that and the landlines back sometimes and all of that. I think that the equivalent for travel is local travel. I think it's to your point about the long flights and the exhaustion and the stress of booking, and it's something that Europe does really well for many different reasons. One of them is you don't need to get on a big flight to go somewhere gorgeous in Europe.
Very
in the summer. Like, it's beautiful everywhere. You're in Northern Europe, it's amazing. Southern Europe, it's amazing. You're in the middle, you can travel anywhere.
Awesome.
That's one of the reasons, and there's more time. But local travel is a thing that in America, at least, is like very untapped, I think.
Yeah.
Because anywhere, it's a gorgeous country, and there's a lot to do anywhere you are, really. Yeah. So, but people, to your point, like, are like, I'm going to get on the flight, I'm going to do an Instagram thing, I'm going to get on a nice beach in the Caribbean, I'm going to go to Asia, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. But there is so much to do locally anywhere you are. I think that is...
I think you have to...
That could be coming back.
I agree, but I think you have to either have a group of highly cool, influential people lead the charge on that type of travel, or you have to really help people shift their mindset on the kind of travel that they're doing.
I mean, it's
the value of it. I agree.
Honestly, I bring back the technology parallel. I think it's the same. It's like, it's probably a generational shift that's going to need to happen. I don't think it's us. I think it's like the next generation will probably realize there's something on the table that's untapped and easier and better for you.
But I also think it's how, and I mean, so I work in automotive, right? And I think Lincoln, for instance, we have some really interesting features like Blue Cruise, which is an L3 self-driving capability. It's not fully, we're not there yet, but even with driving with Blue Cruise, you don't have to touch your hands on the wheel. Yeah. The steering wheel, your cognitive load goes down. It's a nice way of travel. Yeah. There's, massage seats. Beautiful. You can adjust the light. We even have a feature together with Calm when you arrive that you could actually do like a rejuvenate sequence, 5 to 10 minutes to sort of be able to reset and recharge. Like, those are things that driving in a Camry versus something that has
100%
a vehicle that's fully spec, that changes your travel.
I agree. And you guys remember we talked about the road trip. Yeah. And at the end of the road trip episode, we were like, we didn't even talk about self-driving. But you see what I mean? It's like, this is where it's going, right? I think your point, Jesper, is going towards like self-driving. The increasing comfort of car travel is also probably going to get to more local travel. What I mean by local is get in the car, basically, is what I mean.
There's also another version of what you're saying, which I think the industry is starting to see people do, which is go to a city and then get more basically go deeper into that city versus trying to see multiple cities. So like, if you fly to Europe and go to Paris, you're going to spend the whole week there visiting like neighborhoods, like getting into micro neighborhoods and communities and experiencing it. And I think it's a good like way to balance maybe people's desire to get further away, but to really explore, like, because there's an interesting, people still, no matter how stressed people might be about travel, everybody gets swept up in the like off the beaten path sort of experience. And I feel like there's a way that the travel industry could frame up the like convergence of off the beaten path with micro neighborhoods and communities in a way that you now don't have to, you can get that experience, but not be stressed out and exhausted having to do it. So that's kind of interesting.
Like, it almost feels, this is a weird thing to say, but like, it almost feels like there was a moment where it was like tourism was like bad.
Totally.
And it's like, maybe we just need to reframe, because the great things about tourism is like, you don't have to think, you're going to show up, you're going to be taken care of. And you're going to see the stuff that is interesting to you. Now, over the time, some of those things got a little bastardized, excuse me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain tourist traps now and things like that. But if you could reframe a way of basically saying, we'll make this easy for you, we'll make it interesting for you, and we'll take care of you. Start there.
Well, it's interesting because all-inclusive is on the rise again.
That makes sense.
Travel agents are kind of
they're coming back,
resurging.
Oh, wow. That makes sense.
And it's like exactly what you're saying is people are like, we basically gave people the ability. It's like every category, right? In the basically like the first 2 decades of the 2000s, it was like, technology means it's in your hands now and you have control and you can DIY it. And people were like, power to me. And then everyone was like, wait,
can someone take care of it?
Like, I don't want that.
So do you want to take care of it, or do you want a credible curator? Because I think that's the other point.
Yes. That's a good distinction.
That's where I'm like,
that's what you need.
Saddened by the comeback of the all inclusive.
I agree.
Like if you
the Club Med,
and all of them, right?
Yeah.
Like if you get to the credible curator, you called it, then you're gonna increase. I don't know, curiosity travel, travel that teaches you something.
Yeah.
It's so black and white right now. Because I think what you're talking about is like there's a massive opportunity in the gray. Like right now, it feels a little bit like I don't know the world of travel agents, and so they might be screaming into their phone right now saying this exists.
A lot of people scream in their phones when they listen
but
to
like
us.
what you're saying right now is it almost feels like it's like, all right, am I going to go do an all inclusive, or am I going to figure it out on my own? Yeah. And you're talking about this amazing opportunity, which is like, no, we'll take care of like the stuff we know you care about. You know what I mean? You want a comfy bed. You want a nice place. You want to be able to work out. But then we'll also give you enough freedom to explore in these corners.
So that exists. Credible curators exist, but they're like super premium, expensive. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it exists. And some travel agents are doing a great job at it, but it's
a high-end service.
It's phenomenal. Like people just do it for you to your taste. But
I think
is there AI tools for this yet?
Well,
I don't know
I was
yet.
going to say is I think this is the inevitable next step, because people who can't afford that sort of luxury, like curator of your trip, everyone's planning their trips with ChatGPT now. But the
100%.
problem, the gap is that ChatGPT like gives you an itinerary and a plan, but you still have to
do it all.
Book the flight, book the hotel. Maybe you're going to compare prices. Maybe it can help you do that. But I was reading about the idea of not only ChatGPT or any AI tool being connected to
being able to negotiate and all that stuff,
but also being able to change in real time. So like, let's say you plan a whole itinerary, and on the Monday you're going to go see this botanical garden, and you wake up and it's pouring down rain. Well, your AI travel agent rearranges your schedule, and it's like, how easy to be connected to the weather app. And it's like, okay, cool. Let's alter this, because, ChatGPT is, I think, helping people just more quickly research, but it's still not taking the load off but it could get there.
But I mean, but who is it researching or crawling from? Like, you call
that's
Amex Platinum, and you're like, okay, the restaurants are recommending me. Of course they're getting kickbacks. Like, is that going to be true? Yes or no? Yeah. You go into Yelp or TripAdvisor and you're like, are these people like me, the ones who are rating everything? Yeah. I'm so different. Should I really trust that or not? Like, if I had a Jesse ChatGPT, that'd be awesome. I'd trust you, and I'd be like,
yeah. That's true. I mean, that's why I like like you said, it probably does exist to a degree for more luxury travelers, but like the idea of not just, hey, we'll take care of this stuff for you, but what are your interests? Like, what are your building a profile on people would be so interesting. If it's like, okay, what are your top 5 favorite restaurants in LA and your top 5 favorite restaurants in New York, and why? And then it's like, okay, I get you. Like, I'm starting to understand what it is that you like and what you want. And I think,
it's the belly of travel.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. So Amex had a test, or I think they took away the service, unfortunately, but it was concierge through text.
Right.
Super simple. And I remember I was going to Italy with my wife. My wife loves to do research. So we had all our restaurants picked out. So let's say we had a week. So we had 7 restaurants. So we texted Amex and said, we have 7 restaurants that we want to go to. We like to eat between 7:30 and 8. Figure it out. Which was beautiful. So they knew, and an itinerary came back, and every day we got our text reminder saying, the restaurant and the address. Like,
and
that's
they took
what
it
I
away.
like.
They took the feature away.
Yeah,
what a bummer.
Yeah, I hope they don't get angry here, but
you should talk about Belly, because you're the one who introduced me to that app, and I think that's literally what we're talking about.
Yeah,
it's a version of what Jesper's saying, but for the masses.
Yeah, have you ever used the Belly app?
No.
So it's sort of a new. It's I think what the younger generations are sort of using instead of Yelp, because like you said, Yelp became a little bit of a like, what is this?
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting, the UX that they've built, because what they essentially have you do is like you log on. And it's like, cool, you live in LA. Have you ever been to any of these restaurants? And so John and Vinny's pops up. You're like, yeah, I've been to John and Vinny's. And it's like, did you like it? 3 options, liked it, so-so, didn't like it. You hit like it, cool. Then Bavel, It's like, oh, have you been here? You're like, yeah. Next thing you mark it, I like it. And then it's like, all right, well, John and Vinny's or Bavel? Which one do you like better? And you're like, oh, well, okay, I like Bavel better. And so it starts, the whole idea is for you to really start ranking a lot of restaurants. And every time you add a new one, it starts comparing it to the other ones. And it's sometimes you can say, like, sometimes I can't compare my favorite smash burger restaurant to Bavel. Like, so you're like, oh, skip, I can't do this. But now it's creating a ranking based on your preferences. So then we were in New York last week. I was just playing with the app, and I looked at a restaurant that I thought I wanted to go to, and it was like, hey, based on your other rankings, I think you're going to like this about a 6 out of 10. And I was like, that's bullshit. And so I went to the restaurant.
I'll show you app.
No, the app showed me 100% 6 out of 10 is exactly what I would have rated it.
That's so funny.
And I was like, okay, this is an interesting notion. Yeah. It's the first, and it's just sure, they're gamifying it. Sure, it's just a different way of ranking. But I never thought about the fact that I was choosing restaurants on Yelp based on other people's preferences, when like I like different stuff. And like,
that's the thing.
Think about how many people are like, oh my God, I think John and Vinny's is the best restaurant ever. And I'm actually like, I don't actually love John and Vinny's that much.
That's really interesting. So many people have said that since the beginning of Yelp and Google reviews and all that. Are like, I'm not following any of this because I'm not like other people. Totally. Not in the bougie way. It's like, we just all have different tastes. 100%. Some of our friends do that. Yeah. I'm the guy who like looks at Google reviews. I'm like, I go there. And I would say a solid 50% of the times I disagree with the review.
Well, I mean, also like our tastes are all over the place.
90%.
Like Jesse, we talk about how we both actually don't like high-end coffee.
Oh yeah.
But we like high-end other things.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like it's just like we're all very specific.
Exactly.
And I think it's
beings.
taking all of that into consideration. So like to your point for travel, it's the same thing. It's like,
I know. What are you going to get satisfaction and happiness?
Yeah. And what do you,
because
so different.
That's what's so I think if I think about disappointment through travel, generally speaking, it's I was supposed to like this and I didn't. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like literally, like I went to Disney with my kids, and for anyone who's like a Disney person, plug your ears. And we did the thing. My kids and I looked at each other after a day of doing it, and we were like, cool, we did it. And they're like, yes, we did it. Can we go somewhere else now?
Yeah.
And I was like, fantastic. Yeah. You didn't love this. I didn't love this. Let's go do something else now. You know what I mean?
Every single time I've ever fallen for, like, I went to Portugal a couple years ago, and everyone was like, there's this bookstore that's incredible that you have to go to. I'm like, okay. I mean, I love books. So like, this is like speaking to me. I'm like, what is this?
But isn't that just an overpromise kind of thing? Do you think?
I think that's to
you get more from discovery. It's like when you overplan a trip and you actually get there, and it's everything you already saw and read about.
I have a hot take that I think all three of you are going to disagree with, which is like in San Francisco. When I lived in San Francisco is the king of lining up for food for the place. You got to go get a donut at the place. And I was the king of like, what's the second best place? I'll just go there. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh yeah.
and generally speaking, my happiness and enjoyment from things like that are always way higher than waiting in line for the number one thing.
I once
I have a different strategy.
Go on.
First of all, I completely agree with you. You will never ever see me wait in line. I'm like, either I skip the line and I'm an asshole.
It's not worth it.
I'm like, no. But my strategy is, okay, so what was the place that had the line a year ago?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's what I do. Because usually the food is still good, but it's not as hip.
Yeah,
exactly. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go
there. I once stood in line for 4.5 hours for a hot dog.
That's what I mean.
Pinkies or
a hot dog.
Oh, wow.
It's a hot dog.
Jasper, do you wait in line for food?
I could.
Yeah.
But I'm a pretty good line. You're try patient. To cut the line. I can be patient. But like if I really, really read about it, then I
want to
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have a hard time
I heard something recently about New York, like waiting in line culture is insane, and I think they say waiting online. There's a thing really weird about New York language and waiting in line, and I didn't know that, but it's known for just waiting for food.
Yeah.
So there's an app actually that you can have people standing like
That's
for you.
depressing.
And that would solve like the whole problem, right? That you would pay them and you could go and have a coffee somewhere else. And then then you
It
just
would
switch
be
places.
amazing if I could have somebody go through like airport security for me.
Yeah.
Check my bag. Like, then I just get on the plane.
It's just called a private.
Yeah.
Private.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I'm not there yet.
But I mean, I think the credible curator is already kind of attacking like the beginning of the journey of travel.
Yeah.
It's already
Yeah.
the planning part of it.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about type of travel, right? Like traveling more local or spending more time in one place. One thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was slow travel. Like, because one of the other things that's resurging a bit is things like the romanticizing of train travel again, like
Trains
luxury.
are awesome.
Yeah, Belmont had
Trains are awesome.
The Oriental Express, there are all of these like insane, 4 nights on this luxury train with Michelin food going around Tokyo. Like,
Do you know what the Rocky Mountaineer is? That's another big one in Canada.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
you're going
yeah.
through all these like hidden mountain passes
Yeah.
and
There's one
stuff.
that goes from like downtown LA and up the ocean.
I actually have a really
to
good
Seattle,
idea for trains. I thought about this the other day because I don't think I would enjoy train travel because like,
What do you do?
Where's there to do cartwheels?
Yeah.
Like, what am I
you need
going to do?
cartwheels for it.
You drink.
But
Play
then
cards.
Play cards and drink.
Exactly.
But then I was looking at pictures of some of these new, like beautiful, and you're looking at out the window at these stunning views. And I was like, okay, actually, if there was a train car that the back of it was just a giant window and there was a Peloton facing out,
That's a good idea.
I would totally get on that train.
Like the last car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sure, the dining car is cool and I can sometimes sit and do this and we can play cards, but also I'm going to go back there for about an hour and a half and like,
Make the last car the gym.
run
All
on the
glass
Peloton.
window.
And imagine having a
But,
Peloton.
already those, it's not the Peloton, but those like new trains have like the one that goes like up, it's not PCH, but up the Pacific Coast.
Yeah.
Has like huge glass, like floor to almost ceiling on the side of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
but then you see the videos and people are like looking at the ocean, and I'm like, I love the ocean.
But it looks
Doesn't
the same.
change much.
But
It
4
looks the
days
same.
of looking at the ocean.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the beautiful trains in the Alps. Like it's going through Switzerland. It's like
Totally.
amazing.
And imagine walking on a treadmill in a train.
Yeah,
Staring
it's pretty
out
cool.
It would be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's
I would
pretty
do
cool.
it. I
It's
would do
pretty
it if
cool.
it was like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
4-day train trip. But I think that is it. It's also part of I don't know how big this is going to get, but some of the data does show the rise in things like train travel because of the rejection of how bad airport travel has gotten.
And it's
Like
quicker.
how stressful it is. And so I think it's going to be interesting
Yes.
because look, I mean, you guys know actually since the beginning of this podcast, I wanted to bring an episode literally on just the boarding process. How do you fix the boarding process of airplanes?
How do you fix plane boarding? Yeah, that was our first
It was
subject
our
that we wanted to bring.
first
Why haven't we
ever-
done it?
But because you guys
Because
knew
it's
about
it's
it.
very tactical. But
It's
let's
so-
solve it now.
Yeah,
I have
let's solve
ideas.
it now.
It's also like a
have
Seinfeld
ideas.
bit. Like, what's the deal with
Yeah.
boarding a plane?
I have ideas. I know
go
how to
on.
fix plane boarding.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you forget about like the class, whatever the different sections, first class, business class, economy. You forget about that. You board all the window seats first. Everybody in the window seat, you get in first. So you get all
This is
window
very
seats
logical.
from the back to the front, and then the middle seat from the back to the front, and then the aisle seat from the back to the front, and then it's gonna last. You're gonna save like a shit ton of time.
Okay, see, I have another idea.
I think that would work in Germany and Sweden and Switzerland. And the rest of this messy, stupid world, it would completely fall apart.
You are likely right.
I could see the guy watching 1C getting pissed when to put his back.
Yeah. Okay, because I always thought that actually, have you ever seen people talk about like in sort of nonsensical situations like that, like wanting to be the best at boarding a plane or like
what? That's a thing?
Yeah, like it's a thing that people talk about.
Going through security.
I like absolutely aced going through security.
I
like,
judge people who suck at it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So people,
right.
you don't think about it in that way, but a lot of people, it's just sort of a social content thing where people are like, I'm going to be so good at going through security that there's no one better who goes through. Like I will get an A+ on this. Like but it is a mindset that you want to be like the best at it. So I think you should start grading people. Like I think everybody should get a score for how they board.
So you got a VIP line for the fast people. Like,
and then your like personal score goes up, and that's how you get better boarding is like based on your XP
so everyone
points.
who has a Remova bag or something easy that can easily open, or has a toiletry bag that has fishnets already, so that everything's pre-packed and you can just chop and go.
Yeah. And then like how fast you put your bag up, how fast you sit down. Like
I love that. Like the Uber rating.
Yeah, and I mean honestly,
gamification.
Yeah, have you ever noticed? I mean, it's a cultural. I mean, this thing too. We could talk about this forever. It's a cultural thing. There are some countries where it's way easier boarding a plane than others.
Yeah.
And it's like it's very interesting.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
That is true. So
dude,
so plane
go
boarding.
To France. Good luck.
Does it take forever?
Oh, dude.
I had the worst time boarding a plane in Paris.
Because everything is compounding, right? So it's like culturally, if it's not well organized, the airport's not well organized, but then the people are not well organized, and then the airline's not well organized. So there's some places where you're like, well, first of all, this airport was never meant to board that big of a plane. So why are there so many people in that hall? So you can't really, you start there and then you imagine the rest.
Yeah.
And then Charles de Gaulle used to have like the security at the gates sometimes. And you're like,
God.
What just happened here?
Charles de Gaulle, probably one of the worst rated airports in the world. I don't know. It should be anyway.
LAX?
Oh yeah, way worse.
I don't mind LAX.
LAX is great.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
God,
it's just the traffic.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
First world problems.
Per usual.
Sorry, yeah.
I get it. I think I bring like a really sharp topic and then we're just all over the place.
It's a big one. So I think like, where do we go next?
Yeah, how do we fix travel, guys?
Credible curation is how we fix like the process of booking.
And well, there's not just the booking, but the planning, inspiration and planning.
Correct.
It actually starts from that because there's overwhelm, there's decision fatigue, there's like fear of making the wrong choice. I think the curation, the credible curator solves sort of all of that, because I actually think if you know that it is so designed specifically for your own satisfaction, to your point, then you're not really worried about what other people are doing or what other people think about what you're doing.
I have actually a real life human example of that.
A human example?
Like human, not tech, not company-wide. But it's the same thing actually. Like we may book travel somewhere in like Central America for the break. And literally the only reason we're going is like good friends of ours, like, we were there last year. And I was like, oh, where were you? He sent me an email. We landed here, went to that hotel, then that one, and that one. I was like, that seems great. I didn't do any research. I was like, let's go.
You did that for me when I went to Bangkok.
Exactly.
And I was like, didn't know I was going to be going there. And it was a last minute change. And I was like, what do I do? And you're like, start in this neighborhood, go to this one, and then spend a day in this one and go. And
that's credible curation. That's literally what it is. It's a source that you trust.
But is there a step before that? Because I'm also trying to think about like, I think we all here share a mindset of what we want to experience. Like we want to learn food, want to learn about culture and so forth. I had a friend of mine who took his 16-year-old son to New York, who was very much into land hockey.
Yeah.
So he was like, the highlight of my son's trip was that we played land hockey in Central Park.
Right.
So we flew all the way from Sweden to New York to do that, but that was his kick out of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are some people who want to travel just to be serendipitous.
100%.
And just walk around. They don't want to plan because they feel that's interesting too, and just wander.
I wanted to ask that.
So how do you start like on the...
Like how much of a planner are you? And then what makes a trip successful for you?
And maybe that goes into the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where the app should start. Like where is defining, well, I think you should have a baseline profile, but actually sometimes even you change. Like sometimes I want a more serendipitous trip and sometimes I don't. So like, I don't even know that you would, as a person, be consistent every single time in the type of travel you want. But I feel like that's sort of the UX flow that you start to think about in the app.
Are you all travel big time planners? Are you serendipitous travelers? What are you on that scale, would you say?
I have a wife again who is extremely she has a philosophy of never wasting a meal. So we travel for food, and everything of that is very curated. In between, you can be a little serendipitous, and you can also like trust your local hotel to find things. But there's usually like some milestones specifically around food that are being taken care of.
Yeah. So what about you, Jesse?
Well, you know that all of my trips have been booked approximately 6 days prior to leaving. I don't know that that's because I'm not a planner. I like to know where I'm going to stay.
But I see you looking at the stuff a lot more before the 6 days.
Yeah, it's not like I just wake up one day. And I have done that though. But I like to know where I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
And I like to have at least half I'm also travel for food. So I want like the meals, like at least half of them. And then after that,
maybe one excursion.
Yeah. I want to know that like I'm doing like something fun, physical activity. Like, oh, are we going on a hike? Are we doing this? Like, but most of it unplanned.
What about you?
I'm a little even further away from planning than these two. Like, I just need to know how to get around.
Yeah.
So all the flights, the trains, the cars booked, and where does the family sleep, and then everything else we plan once we're on the plane or once we get there. Like there's this thing psychologically that we can't really get into the excitement of planning if we're not there, and then once we're there, we're like, oh, that seems cool. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oops. We were supposed to book that one 2 months ago. Well, it's probably not meant for us.
Right.
So it's like kind of in between. But rarely do we go all the way to be like the day of at 8 a.m. We have no idea what we're doing today. And the five of us, a group of five, need to figure it out. Like there's like a 24-hour, we know that day we're going to do that kind of thing. But we don't plan much.
Yeah.
It's just and we're okay.
It's interesting.
We're okay wasting a meal. We're kind of okay with it. We're like, we're going to try local things. And sometimes like in other markets, very local things. Oh yeah, that one wasn't very good. Okay. Well, we'll make up for it tonight.
No. I'm sad
sense.
when.
What about you?
Probably closer. I mean, I have a feeling it's because we both have a lot of children.
I was going to say that.
But I think it's like generally what
a little bit.
The way we do it a little bit is there's like 3 or 4 things we want to try and do. You know what I mean? Right. And it's like you get to 2 or 3 of them. And you're happy with that. You know what I mean? Like it's like you have some broad stroke things, but it's not like the entire thing is planned, if that makes sense. Yeah. No,
okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
You go, Jesse.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about the journey. I do think the UX of the whatever product we're building here is kind of interesting in the credible curation. I do think we talked a little bit about the actual booking and logistics. I think if there could be something that actually in real time can adjust with you, feels like a really interesting evolution to like booking. Because if you book if you book all the stuff in advance and then stuff happens, that's on you to now take care of. Then there's like the pre-trip preparation. That's like basically the next phase that we haven't really talked about at all. And maybe there's nothing to fix there. Maybe it's just is what it is. But packing is stressful for people. We talked about this in the vacation episode of this podcast, like the work handoff, like all the like having to prepare to be gone. Pets, finding like pet sitters, taking care of your plants, like all of that stuff. And I think little micro businesses have tried to pop up to like solve some of those problems for you. But none of these, think of like a travel app that's connecting all of these components. And I don't think that anybody is right now, connecting both the booking to the planning to the who's going to babysit your dog, who's going to water your plants, like nothing sort of holistically.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Isn't it a matter of versus like trying to optimize all of this thing, just help people find what's right for them. If finding a dog sitter is too stressful for you, you should probably not get on a 10-hour flight and be away for your dogs for 2 weeks. You see what I mean? Like there's probably like, if that's too stressful, then get in your car and go on a wonderful road trip. Yeah. And stay with the the mammals that matter the most to you. Like, you see what I mean? It's there's a thing like when people come back and they're like, I'm too tired, or now the preparation was overwhelming, then maybe that wasn't the right thing. Maybe it's not about making that thing more fun. It's making like your vacation a different kind of vacation.
Yeah.
I think the problem exactly. And I think it's like, you almost want to go back further, which is people don't understand what they'll actually enjoy. I think that's the biggest problem with travel right now, right? Which is like, it's like everything, and everything's become, especially with like kind of the algorithmic world we're living now, is like the thing that becomes the most popular doesn't just become popular. It becomes the only thing very quickly. And then so everyone's like, oh, that's the thing we got to go do. And there's less room for inspiration around what are the other things to do? What are the interesting things to do? What's actually makes sense for me? And so I think that's the bigger problem. If I look at like a 50% unsatisfaction rate, I don't think it's going to be because, traveling, like booking was a pain in the ass. You will forget that if you have a great trip, you will not care 100%. About that. If you don't understand what makes you happy, you will never be satisfied with the trip.
And maybe that's
so we're here to solve happiness.
No, maybe the conversation. Yeah, I mean, we're saying the same thing, but I'm like, then what does it bring you? Like, what does travel bring you? And then maybe to some people, it's going to bring something that's not that valuable in their lives. And then let's find a thing for them in their free time. That's going to...
I love it.
Like,
but it becomes a lot of pressure, like going back to your Disneyland analogy, and you've got people who don't make that much money spending thousands of dollars in 24 hours.
Yeah,
and they're supposed to be
thinking they need to do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I've had road trips that were more enjoyable than flights to exotic places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's like you need to figure out what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then once you figure that out, it's going to get a lot easier to like really enjoy it. And I think, and then this is the other unspoken thing we haven't talked about at all too. I imagine a big part of this, the unsatisfaction, comes from people looking at the hole they just burnt through their wallet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you come home, you didn't have that great of a time, and you go, oh, and that cost me a lot. Like boom, right
Freak
there.
out.
You know what I mean? Like
what I'm about to say is more dramatic than what is like realistically necessary. But I feel like we need 5 years of an industry called like travel therapy.
Right.
Where like everybody needs to go through a couple years of like therapy with a expert who's specifically asking this question. Cause I actually love the idea of, if there's 50% dissatisfaction rate, then like maybe travel's not for you.
Right.
And I love what you said,
And
which
maybe,
is like, let's figure out what's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's just a picnic.
Totally.
Maybe it's a weekend over here. And I mean, I don't think we should have a travel therapy industry, but in a sense, it's kind of what we need.
But it goes back to your curation. Are you going to see friends or family? Like Roman, I can assume when you go back to France or I go back to Sweden, that's a very different trip than going to discover a new continent.
Totally.
You know, that you're basically having breakfast, lunch, and dinners with relatives and
all the drinks in between. Yeah.
And all the drinks in between, and you come back and you need another vacation, right?
Yeah, totally. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, how do you sort of, again, back to like setting the parameters of what you're doing, and you only have so many weeks a year to spend, right?
Yeah. I have like a bunch of friends who don't like traveling. And when they do, they just get in the car and they go skiing, or they get in the car and they go to a beach town, but they rarely or never get on planes, because they're like, now I'm like 40-ish and I realize actually I don't like it as much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good for you. Like pretty good to like be like, okay, I know exactly what I like.
I mean, it takes a lot of self-awareness is what I was just going to say, because I read a lot about, there's been a lot of studies done on the anxiety. I think, what was it called? Of course it had a name. I think it was called travel dysmorphia, which was like the idea that you feel compared to everybody around you, that you're less well-traveled than everybody else around you, but everyone around you also thinks that they're less traveled than everyone around them. And so there's this like collective societal anxiety, because travel became this thing that it was cool to do, and it made you cool, and you got social capital from it. And then everyone's like, well, I'm not as well traveled as that person.
I've never been to Bahrain.
But then if you actually start, but it's travel dysmorphia, because if you actually start listing out the places you've been, you're like, well, I've actually experienced a lot.
But
So maybe
it's even incredible that the term well-traveled, less traveled actually exists. It's grammatically weird, but it was probably invented in the last 15 years.
I also, on the flip side, I always find it very annoying when someone tries to flex on me about their travel. I always find that I'm like, dude, that's not cool. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
If you go to Budapest, you got it. I'm like, okay.
Well, you're unique, Simon. No, but it is interesting. Like the term well-traveled probably didn't exist 15 years ago.
Probably an airline came up with it or something.
I was just going to say some airline marketing team came up with it. Then everyone was like, I have to be well-traveled. Maybe I should buy more flights.
If you package travel therapy as something else than therapy, I think you're onto something.
Well, because like what you're talking about is like
therapy,
travel coaching,
maybe travel curation. Maybe that's what Jesper's been laying it out for us for the last hour.
About 45 minutes ago,
that's the product we're building
for you.
Travel curation is not just the beginning; it's the whole thing, you guys. It's your life.
Let's use like the Belly app as a starting point.
Yeah.
And if it asked you like, do you like going to a park or do you like shopping? Which one do you like more?
Yeah.
Which one do you like to do this? Do you like going to a new neighborhood or going to that neighborhood has that thing you like? Okay, cool. Let's go there. Here's some suggested road trips.
Going to that neighborhood more than you like going to a park?
Do you like Solvang more or San Diego more?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm using a very Southern California reference, but
we'll stop with S. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like sort of you start there and you just sort of build out from it. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the thing is like, what do you actually want? And what do you want to get out of the trip?
Yeah.
Right?
I'm sure if people didn't know it was for that, and you asked a bunch of questions like that, and you don't know what it's for, a vast majority of people would land in, I'd rather go on something simple that's close to home.
I guarantee, I bet you're right
because
too,
it's become
dude.
so much about the social cachet.
Totally.
To your point. Yeah.
Totally.
But there is something about, Roman, I don't know if you're a coffee snob, but I'm a bit of that. Like,
I don't drink coffee.
Oh, you don't drink coffee and you guys stop at any gas station.
We're not
Yeah.
huge. Yeah, we're fine.
That's right.
Totally.
That's exactly right. So
Totally.
if I drive up PCH, we have done, like there's a place up, I can't remember, in Los Altos called Lucky Llama.
Okay.
I wish, so friends of mine knew it. So I try to stop there every time I drive because I know the coffee is great. But why isn't there a ding, or why don't we recommend that? Like if I go somewhere else, why can't I find my Lucky Llamas around?
Yeah. If you like this.
Yeah.
The version of that is this place here in the middle of Texas or what? Yeah, that's cool too. I like that. Yeah, because every city has a version of that thing.
Yes, exactly. And you would go off the beaten path probably to find that. Yeah,
that's interesting. That's like, it's like putting
Let's throw it in the app as well.
Yeah, totally. Guys, this is a super app. It's going to solve happiness. It's going to help you figure out your travel. It's going to find you your lookalike, lookalike spots.
It's going to find you a car, and the car doesn't have a driver.
Exactly.
And it's called Uber or Waymo. That's where it starts.
But Uber, are you listening?
I find that like the irony of like making the far away, like, oh, you got to go check out the far away. It makes it less exotic. And I think there's like something very interesting right now, which is like some of the most like exotic and weird and interesting trips, if that's what you're really into and you're trying to do that, is actually closer than that now.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been on some very strange road trips I wouldn't recommend to the entire world and stuff like that, because it was like, that was just like really weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people like, again, and I think this is also like, we're also weirdly talking about the travel tourism marketing industry, right? Which is like, plant in people's head that this place is exciting and it has a certain vibe to it and you want a part of this vibe and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to change that.
Well, also the idea of like I'm not saying it doesn't exist anymore, to be clear, but that the whole idea of kind of like exotic travel existed before like major globalization of like, now when you go places, you're like, oh, there's a Zara on every corner of every city in the world that I go to. Or like there's an H&M, like there's a Hard Rock Cafe. Like why? I have no idea. But it's kind of interesting because you sort of chase this idea of like something new and different. Yeah. But obviously I go to, like I've been to cities where I'm like, oh, this is amazing and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But also, is it is everything that's so far away now that different from what's close to home now that more and more places look and
but
feel
is it
the
only
same?
about discovery though? Like, I'm trying to like we're kind of biased here because we live in a place where we can access snow,
totally,
and we don't have seasons.
Yeah.
Like if you live back in Europe, take that analogy again, like you're gonna need some sun at some point when you freaking have been in darkness for 8 months. Like it's a necessity to go, and I'd go to like the Canary Islands or whatever, and I'd stay in a Club Med just to like.
Yeah, totally. You know what? That's such a good. Whenever I talk to like my brother back in Canada, it's literally like, well, there's just like 1 week I go to somewhere hot and sit on a beach. Yeah, because it's survival.
Yeah,
exactly.
Survival is kind of an interesting industry, actually.
Yeah.
What's that?
The snowbirds, like, and it's the same in Europe. Northern Europe travels like in the winter, south. Like Canadians go to Florida and the Caribbean in the winter. Yeah. It's like survival. At some point, they're like, I haven't seen the sun in like 3 months. Yeah, totally. Get me out of here.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I actually always thought that, not that I'm a proponent of tanning beds, but I always thought like when the tanning bed industry got really hot in like the 2000s, that's what they should have sold. Like 30 minutes of travel.
Oh
yeah.
Different suns. Like, do you want a Dominican sun? Do you want a Florida sun?
Anyway, would have been.
Or just light therapy if you don't want to get like tan.
Yeah. So, I mean, tanning beds are terrible. You shouldn't go to them, but it would have been cool. No. I feel like we've got to be close to time here.
Yeah, probably.
I have to. My instinct is usually spot on.
What are we at?
What do we have? We are. All right. 50 seconds to wrap us up.
Oh my gosh, Jesse. Nailed it.
I was hoping the timer would go off without you noticing and you'd be like, all right, we got to wrap it up. But in the middle of but no, you got your internal clock was like ready.
My internal podcast clock. Yeah. I have no ability to track time with anything else in my life, but somehow on the podcast. Okay, well, I think the summary of this episode is that Jesper pretty much cracked it 5 minutes in. And then we spent 45 minutes trying to find another solution. But the truth is it was there in front of us all along. But I think we talked about, I mean, obviously the credible curator, right? We've said it now, whether it's the coach, the curator, whatever we want to call it. But I think the most interesting evolution in this conversation was that curation actually starts far before even thinking about what kind of trip you're booking, because to this whole conversation, there's the timer, to this whole conversation, do you even want to go on a trip in the first place? Is it what's important to you? What will actually bring you satisfaction? Use the sort of gamified, not just gamified, but the personalized understanding of what brings you joy. Build that into the CX of this super app that we're talking about and start from there. And then, of course, from there, you can solve so many of the other, if you are going to take a trip, you can remove friction from the booking process with AI. You can remove friction from the experience by actually booking things that you know you will like, not just what other people will like. I think we fixed the boarding process of airplanes. So, that's check.
The security line. People who are quick should be rewarded.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gamified security.
Yeah. Absolutely. You get remember when people were collecting aura points? Remember when that was a thing? But it was like sort of a fake system, but like real aura points is what you should get for being able to go through security at like a click. Like, why is your water bottle in your backpack? What are you thinking? Anyway.
What do you have for your kids?
Oh, God. Don't get me started. There should be a separate line for people going through security with kids.
My kids are so efficient in security. You have no idea.
I believe that. I think did I miss anything?
No.
No? Okay. Roman, do you think we cracked?
I don't want to go first because otherwise I'm always seen as the pessimist.
Well, stay on brand.
I think we reframed the question, and after that reframe, I think we got somewhere.
Yeah, the reframe being it's not about optimizing or fixing travel; it's about figuring out what brings you satisfaction. Yeah. I like that. Simon, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's tough to go. We cracked it because we created an app that fixed it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a little bit.
A lot of people in the world think that's how.
Yeah. Crazier ideas if it started in garages.
But I mean, like, it's literally like help you figure out what you like, curate it for you, probably AI, and let's have the app do the booking and stuff that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
But the bigger question is like, we need to reframe it. I don't know what this is because it's like a cultural conversation, which is like, we need to reframe what is the purpose of travel and what do you want to get out of it?
Yeah.
I think and until that point, people are going to continue to be unsatisfied.
Yep. Jesper, what do you think?
No, I think what you summed up really nicely, and I like what you said, Roman. It's like, should you really travel?
Yeah.
Like, is that even going to really enjoy it?
Yeah.
It's a good starting point as well. So maybe that should be part of your elimination process when you start planning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The app self-destructs off your phone.
You haven't left your house in weeks. Are you sure you want to go to Japan? Jesse, what do you think?
I agree. I agree with everybody. So don't want to repeat it, but yeah.
Oh, that's first. Wow. We're in agreement.
We're in agreement.
Nice.
Nice.
Right.
Jesper, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jesper.
Thank you for having me.
That was great. This was great. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
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 Thank you for listening to another episode of Crack It in an Hour. If you like the show, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you have questions, thoughts, or feedback, shoot us an email at hello@crackitpodcast.com or on Instagram @crackitpodcast. Music done by Michael Anastasi, cover art shot by Mick Mint, and all things audio and video taken care of by Nathan Nash. See you next time.